The home buying process should be and can be such an exciting time. You know, it's so much fun, it's such a big decision, and it's often one of the biggest moments in someone's life is buying a new home. Well, today I'm going to talk about the other side. We're going to talk about the 7 mistakes to avoid when buying your home. Hi everybody, my name is Josh May with May Group Realtors, RE/MAX of Grand Rapids, and today I'm excited to help you avoid these 7 things while purchasing your home. So let's get into step number 1. The one thing we want to avoid is working with the wrong real estate professional. So did you know that 75% of home buyers actually only connect with one agent? And that is often where some problems can come into play. So if buyers could just take the time to do a little bit more due diligence, and when I'm saying due diligence, what buyers want to look at is they want to look at a realtor's track record. They want to look at reviews. They want to look at sales history. They want to look at how long somebody's been in business. They want to understand that they're working with somebody that's been there before and that will be able to navigate them through the market. Now, if you want to take it a step further, things that buyers should do is potentially interview a couple agents. Ask some very pointed questions about, what are you going to do differently to represent me in these market conditions? So don't get caught up as a buyer. Maybe you go on Zillow, maybe you go on a website and you click on a house and you get your first call from a realtor. Don't get so caught up in working with that first realtor. As a buyer, you really want to make sure you're doing your due diligence, because that process can mean everything to you working with the right agent. So step number 1 to avoid is working with the wrong agent. Okay, so another thing we want to avoid is having a home buyer start their search process not being pre-approved for a mortgage. So we don't want a buyer to get out and get excited and tour homes and fall in love with something and then all of a sudden have to backtrack and get their financing squared away, and maybe they're not excited or happy about what their monthly payment is. So we can avoid all of that by taking care of your financing first, one of the first steps of the process, so you get that out of the way and then you can really enjoy that home tour process. So let's avoid not getting pre-approved to start the process. Moving on to number 3, another mistake we don't want to make is having unrealistic expectations about the market. Now, this can often be taken care of in the initial consultation with your realtor, but an example of this would be a buyer thinks that maybe they can negotiate a ton off of every home that they see, and maybe that's not the reality of the market. Or maybe a buyer thinks that they've got plenty of time to make decisions because homes will just sit on the market. So it's really important to have realistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations can often lead to a very troublesome and tough home buying process. Okay, so number 4 is one of my favorite things to help buyers avoid, and that is helping them avoid choosing style over structure. Okay, now I've seen this a million times. A buyer will walk through a home, they'll be enamored by how a seller has decorated a home, and they will forget to look at all the important things, the structure of a house. So the importance of that is critical. So as a real estate professional, we're going to look past the style and we're going to focus on the structure. That's the layout of a home, that's the foundation of a home, that's the age of the mechanicals, the roof, the big ticket items, to get buyers to see the entire picture. So we've got to avoid choosing style over structure. So number 5 on the list, and another thing we want to avoid is ignoring the resaleability of your home. So this is absolutely critical. For most people, the home is their number 1 most largest investment in their life. And we've got to make sure the resaleability is going to be safe for them in the future. Again, going back to that structure and style conversation, we want to avoid big things that maybe a buyer's not thinking about that are going to affect the sales quality of the home in the future. This could be potential future development around the home. It can be busy streets. It can be, again, the foundation. It can be the layout. There's many things that are going to affect the resaleability. So we want to try to definitely avoid ignoring that. Okay, so moving on to number 6. Now, this is an important step. This is an important thing you want to avoid. Now, this is when you've got the home under contract, you're really excited. We want to try to avoid waiving the home inspection or hiring the wrong home inspector. Now, there's been circumstances in this crazy seller's market where there's been plenty of buyers that have waived inspections, and that's okay. In some circumstances, if a buyer is very educated in a home, if they're very comfortable, but in most cases, we're going to tell you to avoid waiving the home inspection. This is a critical time for a buyer to do any and all due diligence, to get an understanding of anything and everything about how the house works, how the mechanicals work, what future repairs to expect. So this is one of the most important parts of the home buying process, and we want you to avoid waiving the inspections and or hiring the wrong home inspector. Okay, so the 7th mistake that we want to avoid, and this is the final one we're going to give you today, would be not budgeting for everything that a home needs after you close and move in. Now, this can be a number of things. This can be repairs, this can be furniture, this can be utilities, whatever it may be. You want to make sure, and we talk about this with our buyers from the start, is let's make sure that you've got more than the closing costs, more than the down payment. We need to anticipate all the money you're going to need when you move into the house. And you don't have to do everything all right away, but what we do want to do is do the majority of things so the home is not neglected, and of course you're not living in an empty house with no furniture. So let's budget for the excitement of moving into the house. Okay, everybody, we hope that you have learned a couple things about what to avoid during the home buying process. So make sure, comment below things that you've thought about, questions you have, situations you've been in the past. Definitely hit the like button, definitely hit the subscribe button. We absolutely appreciate your support in watching these videos, and we will see you in 1 week. Have a great day.